I've been hiking the Redwood Ridge Trail since I was 16, every summer, same path, same campsite at mile marker 7. It was my escape, my meditation, the one place where the world made sense. Last October, I decided to do one final overnight trip before winter set in. I packed my gear, hit the trailhead at noon, and by 4 p.m. I was setting up camp in the exact spot I'd used a dozen times before. That's when I noticed the cairn, a stack of stones waist-high sitting right in the center of my usual tent spot. I'd never seen it before, and I mean never. I knew every rock, every tree root on this site. I circled it slowly, trying to rationalize. Maybe another hiker built it recently, some trail marker or memorial. But something felt wrong. The stones were arranged too deliberately, almost ceremonially, and the top stone had scratch marks gouged deep into the surface, like someone had clawed at it with their fingernails. I told myself I was being paranoid. I moved my tent 15 feet to the left and started unpacking. As the sun dipped below the tree line, I built a small fire and heated up some chili. The forest grew quiet, too quiet. No birds, no insects, nothing. Just the crackling of my fire and the wind moving through the redwoods above. Around 8 p.m. I heard footsteps. Definite footsteps, crunching through the underbrush about 30 yards from my camp. I called out asking if someone needed help, figuring it was just another hiker passing through. No response. The footsteps stopped. I waited, listening, my pulse starting to quicken. Then they started again, closer this time, circling my camp in a wide arc. I grabbed my flashlight and swept the beam across the trees. Nothing. Just darkness and those massive redwood trunks disappearing into shadow. The footsteps stopped again the moment my light hit the direction they were coming from. I convinced myself it was a deer, maybe an elk, though I'd never heard one move quite like that. I retreated into my tent around 9, zipping it shut even though I usually left it open for airflow. I put in my earbuds and tried to distract myself with a podcast, but I couldn't focus. Every few minutes I'd pause it, listening for those footsteps. They'd come and go, sometimes close, sometimes distant, always stopping when I made noise or turned on my light. At 11:30 I heard breathing, right outside my tent. Slow, deliberate breaths, like someone standing inches from the fabric, listening to me the same way I was listening to them. My entire body went rigid. I didn't move, didn't breathe. The sound continued for maybe 2 minutes, then footsteps again, walking away toward the cairn. I should have left right then. But it was pitch black. I was 3.5 miles from the trailhead, and part of me still thought I was overreacting. I gripped my knife, kept my flashlight on inside the tent, and waited for dawn. Around 1 a.m. I heard scraping, stone on stone. I unzipped my tent just enough to peek out, and my blood turned to ice. The cairn was being rebuilt. In the darkness, I could see the stones moving, stacking themselves higher, one by one, floating up and settling into place with that same grinding sound. No hands, no person, just stones levitating in the moonlight, assembling themselves into a tower now over 6 feet tall. I watched, frozen, as the final stone, the one with the claw marks, lifted into the air and hovered at the top. Then it rotated slowly, and those scratch marks began to glow with a faint, sickly green light. The light pulsed like a heartbeat, and with each pulse I heard a whisper. Not words I could understand, but sounds that felt like they were being carved directly into my mind. My nose started bleeding. I could feel pressure building behind my eyes, and the whispers got louder, overlapping, dozens of voices all hissing in unison. I didn't pack, I didn't think. I ripped out of that tent, grabbed my flashlight and car keys from my jacket pocket, and I ran. I ran through that forest in complete darkness, stumbling over roots, branches tearing at my face and arms, my lungs burning. Behind me, I could hear those footsteps again, keeping pace, matching my speed exactly. And underneath it all, that whispering, following me like a swarm. I don't know how I found the trail. Adrenaline, luck, maybe something worse guiding me out. I burst into the parking lot at 2:47 a.m., jumped in my car, and drove straight to the ranger station 15 miles down the highway. The ranger on duty listened to my story with a concerned expression that told me he'd heard something similar before. He made a note of the location, told me they'd check it out in the morning, but didn't seem surprised. When I asked if anyone else had reported anything strange on that trail, he just said, "We get calls." That was it. No details, no explanation. I went home, threw away everything I'd left at that campsite, and I haven't been back to Redwood Ridge since. But here's the thing that still keeps me up at night. 2 weeks after that trip, I got a notification that my tent had been found and turned into the ranger station. It was folded perfectly, every stake accounted for, sitting in a neat pile exactly where that cairn had been. I never picked it up. If you've ever experienced something you can't explain on a trail you thought you knew, drop it in the comments. And maybe think twice before camping in the same spot every year. Some places remember you, and some things wait for you to come back.